Good morning and welcome back to the Little French Homestead. My name is Sherry and we have a very busy day in front of us. I am going to be making 10 homemade TV dinners with dessert. Yes, you heard that correct, with desserts. So we are going to be doing a little bit of everything. I am going to hopefully try to keep up with what I am doing. It is a long video. I do have a lot here, but I also have other parts that I'm going to be jumping back and forth to. So bear with me, but you will get all the information. All the recipes will also be linked below. So right here, you are seeing that I made some homemade croutons out of some French bread. We are going to be using that breadcrumbs in this particular recipe right here. It is a chorizo sausage stuffing for the boneless 1-inch thick pork chops for the recipe. In this particular pan, I'm going to be doing the onions, celery, and carrots. You're going to cook those down till they get nice, soft, and tender. I will also link my soup starter to that because you can have a little bit of extra saving time if you'd like. After you go ahead and make the soup starter, you want to go ahead and add back your sausage. Now I did a mild sausage and a chorizo to it. I needed something that was going to be more fulfilling. We were making 12 stuffed pork chops and we were having some for dinner that night, as well as packing some away. So with that stuffing, we mixed together some garlic, some chicken broth, some parsley, and then I let it cool in the refrigerator. You see here now that I am prepping some mini meatloafs. We are going to do 2 pounds of ground beef, some onions, breadcrumbs, eggs from my fresh chicken eggs, salt, pepper, a homemade seasoning blend that's Italian, and my homemade garlic pucks that I did. I am now just making them into 10 mini meatloaves. I'm going to wrap that up and stick that in the refrigerator. And we're going to save that for the day I make everything. I did a little bit of meal prep right here. You're going to see some tomato sauce in that can. That's for another recipe a little later down the road, which I'm going to show you on. Now, coming back here to the stuffed pork chops, I stuffed them as much as I could. I had a little filling left over, so that wasn't a big deal. In a hot pan with some oil, both sides I am searing. They both have salt, pepper, and the Italian seasoning blend that I made. You're going to want to get a nice sear on these. And we're going to stick them into a 375 degree oven. And they're going to cook until about 15 to 20 minutes, maybe even 25. They're going to temp, the internal temp, you want them to be at least 160. You want to take them out and allow them to rest. Believe me, you need them to rest. You want all of those juices to get soaked back up inside the pork chop so they are nice and tender. This stuffing that I made was absolutely delicious. You see some of the brown bits that got left over in that pan, and my husband and I nibbled on those until they were all gone. He's like, boy, I'm so glad I married a really good cook. And I tell you what, it was phenomenal. Now I'm just going to be searing both sides of these mini meatloaves. I just want to get them a nice crisp on the side. They are also going to go into the 375-degree oven for about 15-20 minutes, or at least until there's no more pink in the center of the meatloaves. After we do these meatloaves into a pan, I'm going to be making some brown gravy. Using the same pan, it's got all of these delicious bits inside them. With that, you are going to be having 2 tablespoons of butter, 2 tablespoons of flour, and you're going to make that into a nice roux. You can go a little darker on some of these roux. You're just going to add a more flavorful and a more nutty roux. I just went with the basic blonde roux. With that, I added 2 cups of beef broth. Now, I currently do not have any beef broth in my house. I'm waiting to cook my last prime rib. And when I do that, I'm going to make beef broth, and I will take you along for that journey because I want to go ahead and can that up so I have it shelf stable in my home. But the Better Than Bouillon is a very flavorful substitute. I've also added 2 tablespoons of Worcestershire sauce to it, made it to a nice thick gravy. Then after the beef patties, meatloafs were done, I just dipped them very quickly into the gravy, and then I placed them into their containers that you see to the right of me. After we did that, my husband wanted to make sure he wanted the California mixed vegetables. That has broccoli, carrots, and cauliflower, I believe. And then I made homemade mashed potatoes. So every one of them got homemade mashed potatoes and the California mixed frozen vegetables with a homemade blueberry cobbler and a homemade blueberry crisp, as my husband's 2 favorite fruits are bananas and blueberries. We are trying to get him to eat some other ones, but he's still not quite a fan, and that's quite okay. So for the TV dinners, we had made 4 chorizo sausage stuffed pork chops, 3 mini meatloaves with homemade gravy, and previously, a few nights before that, I had made a honey baked ham, and we had a whole bunch of ham left over. A couple of nights ago, I made a ham pork fried rice, and it was phenomenal. With this one here, I just sliced off a bunch of ham that I knew was going to be used for this particular recipe. So I had just put some aside, and he's got 3 of those. Now, one of the main reasons why we're making all of these extra TV dinners is during Christmas break, my daughters had a bunch of friends over, which we absolutely love it when they do have friends over. But I did not make enough food for my husband to take to work, which he wasn't complaining. We still had some broccoli cheddar cheese soup, and he made a sandwich, and he was still perfectly happy and fine taking that. However, though, I had come up with this idea. I have seen it on a few other YouTube videos, but I'm like, you know what? I can make this. I'll make this into a video and show everybody that you can even add a dessert, because some of these did not have desserts whatsoever. Talking about desserts, this brings us to the first one. Here, I'm going to be making the blueberry cobbler. You want to take 5 tablespoons of butter and throw that into an 8x8 glass pan until the butter is melted. It doesn't mind being a little brown, but you certainly do not want it overly brown. Then in a bowl, you are going to mix together for the batter flour, sugar, baking powder, salt, and milk. Mix that thoroughly together. Then for the blueberries mix, you're going to get 3 cups of blueberries. You can use either fresh or frozen, and then sugar and lemon zest. Thankfully, my local Publix was having a big sale, and they were having buy one, get one free blueberries. So I bought 3 sets because knew I was making this, and I was thankful that they had them. Once the butter has all melted, you're going to take that out of the oven. You are going to pour the cobbler mixture inside that buttered pan. Now, you are not to mix that together at all. You are supposed to just pour that in, let the butter rise around the edges. That is going to get your cobbler nice, crisp edges. Then you're going to want to add your blueberry mixture on top of that. Try to get as much as the extra sugar and the lemon zest out of the container as you can. I just use my fingers. You're going to put that then in back in the oven. I believe the temp was at 350, and it's going to take between 40 to 45 minutes depending on your oven. When you want to go ahead and take it out, you want to make sure you take your toothpick and dip it in and make sure that it comes out clean. If it doesn't come out clean, I would just add maybe like another 5 minutes on each intervals to make sure it comes out clean. You really want to make sure that you remember that that glass pan you just poured everything in is extremely hot, okay? Make sure you use a glove. Now we are working here on the blueberry crisp. For the mix, I've got a 9x13 glass pan. It's already filled with 6 cups of blueberries, sugar, cornstarch, and lemon juice. I just mixed everything right there in my pan. No need to dirty another bowl. For the topping, you're going to mix flour, brown sugar, rolled oats, 6 tablespoons of butter, and some cinnamon. And you're going to mix all that together very thoroughly. Once you've mixed that thoroughly, you are going to add that crisp on top of all the blueberries. You are going to bake that at 375 degrees for 50 minutes up to an hour. If by some chance you do happen to see your crisp is getting a little too dark, go ahead and put some aluminum foil over that. You want to check it maybe at the 35 minute mark just to make sure you don't get the crisp like really dark brown. You want it still a nice golden brown, just on the point of turning over. Okay, so now you see here that I've got both desserts coming out. I had some of the crisp last night. It was absolutely delicious. Then I added both desserts after they cooled off to these TV dinners. My husband was very thankful that he has some delicious homemade meals for him to take to work whenever we don't have any extras. I really want to thank you for visiting my home today. If you like this video and you want to see more, please like, share, and more importantly, subscribe. Keep on cooking, and thank you very much. Have a great day.